Hello, and welcome back to another video. Come on up, Carbon. I'm Ruby, this is Ruby Red, and today I'm so excited for this vlog. This is my friend's favorite vlog. It's a tradition at this point. This is the second annual Sewing My Friend's Faves vlog, and I hope to continue doing them for many years to come. Basically, if you weren't here last year and you don't remember the video in which I made my parrot coat, I've got some friends online, some book friends, and each of them has put together a list of their favorite books from all of 2024 up until December. And I'm gonna read one of each of their favorites, okay? Okay, and it is the day that my semester ended, my fall semester. I literally just turned my final paper in moments ago, and now this is beginning. This is like my treat to myself. This is my long break. I have like 6 or 7 weeks off between the end of my fall semester and the start of my spring one. I only have 3 other weeks off throughout the entire year. So this long break is like, I'm gonna make the most of it, you know what I mean? And I have tons of sewing projects that I want to get to, and I have all these friends' favorite books to read, so I'm gonna clear off my desk, unpack my sewing machine. I do have some other projects that I'm gonna be working on as well while I read these faves. I have a bunch of them on audiobook. I have 2 physically, although one of those I can get as an audiobook, and I might do that. One of them I could only get a physical copy. And then the rest of them, it sort of just comes down to like, what do I actually want to listen to? But I think there's just 2 that I'd really prefer to eyeball read, and the rest of them I can listen to as audiobooks. 7 books. I didn't read all 7 in the video last year. It was just like until I was done with my sewing projects. That's how many I got through. But yeah, I have some plans. First of all, I have a dress that has like elastic sleeves, like cuffs, and it was just they were a little bit too tight to be comfortable, so the last time I wore the dress I cut them so that they would not be squeezing my arm off, and now the dress looks a little silly, so I just need to put new elastic in that is the right amount of elastic for me. And I have the elastic, so I can honestly just hand sew that at some point. The next priority for me is making Christmas stockings, because growing up, my family used stockings that my mom had made for just me, my mom, and my dad. We all had one, and each of them was like lovingly crafted to reflect something about the person, I guess. And I don't know, my childhood stocking is so beautiful and I love it so much, but I just want to make a set for my new family with Connor and Carbon, and so I'm gonna make some that are reflective of me as an artist. So I'm gonna make some patchwork quilt style stockings, and I have some ideas about that, but I'm gonna have to dig through my stash to see like what the options for fabric really are before I go too wild with my plans. So we can do that together. That's the only other like urgent thing. I have a bunch of ideas, of course. I actually never finished the jumpsuit that I started in this video last year, and I no longer really want a jumpsuit, so I might still sew together the draft of that pattern that I did cut out. But I have all the fabric for that. That was like kind of a heavy canvas sort of fabric. Not like super heavy, but not with very much like movement, so it's not appropriate to use for like a flowy sort of garment, which is sort of what I prefer to make. So I could use it to make another pair of Clyde pants, which I made a pair in my video, my friend's faves last year, the blue pants that I love and I wear those all the time. And I could make another pair of those it's kind of like a darkish but busy leafy kind of fabric. I think it's very me. But also I'd like to make myself an apron, and I got my mom a nice apron, like a cute one last year, that I like the shape of, so I might like borrow that from her. I might ask her to bring that up when she comes this weekend, then I could take some measurements and like sketch myself a pattern. I think that's more something that I want more than I want another pair of Clydes right now. So those are the sewing projects. I feel like that's everything that's on my plate right now. But there's always the wall behind me. I started painting a while ago. Would like to finish painting it. I still intend to paint the entire room with this pattern, but I think at least finishing this wall would just go a long way towards making everybody a lot happier. So that's on the docket, and I'm knitting a sweater. That's sort of a separate video I'm actually working on, but I'm also crocheting a scarf for myself, like a fashion-y scarf. So maybe some work on that could count in this vlog. We'll just see what happens. And that better be it, because that's already a lot. But I've got all my books picked out. I'm really actually quite excited about almost all the books. There's a few that I'm on the fence about, but I think last year I sort of ended up picking some of them based on what what was more available, or like what I was like, had already been on my radar. But this year I really tried to pick a book from each person's list that I thought I would like the most out of all of their picks. Specifically Lizzie. I really felt bad last year that her pick was one of my lowest rated from the whole friends faves situation, and I think me and Lizzie actually have very similar tastes, so that felt very unfair. And in fact, yeah, we have some of the same favorites this year and last year. I mean, so yeah, that felt wrong. And so this year I almost went with a different pick of hers just because it would be very convenient for me. But I decided to actually go with the one that I truly think I'm gonna really enjoy. So should I talk about the genres really quick? I won't get into the books until I'm actually reading them, but I have a good spread, I feel like. I have a fantasy romance, a middle grade, but it sounds really good and cute, a literary mystery, I suppose you could say, 2 sci-fis, but I really am enjoying sci-fi lately, and both of these sound so good. One of them I maybe will replace with a cozy, not cozy, I don't know, like cottagecore kind of book. I don't know, because I really think I'll like both of them. I don't know, we'll see what happens there. And then a contemporary romance and a classic. That's a wide range, and it's all things that I like. I mean, the middle grade one is a little bit out there for me, but I'm down for it. And the fantasy romance, I don't think I've ever read a fantasy romance before, so I don't know if I'm gonna like that, but Lizzie really liked it, so I'm gonna try it. So yeah, with that, I'm so excited. I'm still riding high off of finishing my semester, but I'm really excited to get to work. I've got all these books. I've got to pick up my final physical book from the library tomorrow, and I think tonight I'm gonna pop on the contemporary romance audiobook, because I just feel like I need something light, something airy, something quick and easy to digest is on the menu right now after I just did so much research-based reading, you know what I mean? So welcome to the vlog. I'm so happy that we're all here together. I have 10 minutes before stuff opens here, and I was gonna do a vlog update because I've been listening to my first book, but a group of people stopped right next to my car where I parked to chit chat. Alright, there's still a lot of people just sort of milling about because nothing's open yet. Hi, I'm in my car and today I had a bunch of errands to run, and I had been putting them off until I was done with all of my schoolwork. And today's my first day where I was perfect, gonna do all my errands. Except then this morning I got a text asking me to go in and cover at one of my libraries, and I said yes because I always say yes. So pretty much nothing that I need for my errands is open until 10, and I have to open the library at 11, and it's gonna take me probably 25 minutes to get from the town where I'm running errands to the town where the library is. So I'm just simply not gonna get all of my errands done. I mean, because I'm confining my today errands to this one town. It's fine. It means that I'm scrambling more than I anticipated to be doing today. I thought I was gonna be leisurely driving around listening to my audiobook. No. I did start my audiobook. I started Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez, which is Bailey's favorite. And it was actually a direct recommendation from her. And I'll talk about it more when I'm not in my car, I guess, because I hate being perceived. You know what I mean? Okay. I did it. I did my errands, and I made it to work on time, and like with just like 2 minutes to spare, but that's fine. Nobody is usually waiting outside the door to get in when I open this library, so yay. And I picked up The Serpent and the Wings of Night, which is actually like so much smaller than I thought it would be. Like a hardcover book. I was worried it was going to be like a huge one. But it's pretty small, and it has pretty small text also. But I'm excited to read this. I have no idea what it's about. I think it's like a dragon thing. Serpent with wings. That's dragony, right? Oh, for humans or vampires. I didn't know this was a vampire book. Now I'm even more intrigued, to be honest. So that's my Ashley pick. Surprise. I don't know if I'm going to start that right away because I'm also trying to read Ship of Destiny right now. Not for this video, but I don't know how much fantasy stuff I want to be reading at the exact same time, but I am really enjoying Yours Truly. I haven't read the first book in that series, and I don't know if I will. I don't know if I've really liked a contemporary romance that wasn't also about food in quite a while, I guess. Or like, I don't know, I loved The Charm Offensive, so maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I have to do a bunch of stuff still to get the library fully open, so I'm going to do that, and I don't know that I'll really get to read today. It seems like there's a lot to do, but just wanted to say I made it. Okay, finally here to talk about Yours Truly. I listened to a bunch of it this morning while I was running around, and I listened to some of it at the library while I was working, and again when I got home and was doing some dishes and such. So I've made it to halfway through the book. Zero sewing today, but half of the book done. As I said, this is one of Bailey's favorites, Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez, and it's the second book in a series. But you know how romance series are, so I haven't read the first one. I was hesitant when I first started listening to this because right off the bat, the main characters are both emergency room doctors, so it's like a hospital book in some ways, and I was like not psyched about that. And then also it's told in dual perspectives, so you're alternating pretty rapidly between the two characters' perspectives. And oh my god, what's the woman's name? Bianca? It's something with a B. I'm so sorry. And then the man is Jason? Wow, I was literally just listening to it. See, oops. Anyway, Jason maybe is super anxious. So reading from his POV, like initially I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm really gonna like having to read from this extremely anxious headspace. It's happened before in a book and I've really liked it. It can be a very powerful, way to connect to a character or whatever, but yeah, he's really anxious, so that was tough. But then after a few chapters I was like, I don't know, there was enough like character development, I guess, or character like work that it wasn't displeasing to me to read. And actually, he's really something else. He's, sorry, the plot of this is that the two of them are both emergency room doctors at the same hospital. He recently transferred there. And both of them also recently got out of a relationship in kind of a horrible way. Like, her husband of many years was cheating on her for many of those years, and she found out, and so they're divorcing, and like the day her divorce is finalized is like one of the first days in the book. And he this all comes out very early on. He had been dating this woman Amy for a while, and then she, like, it wasn't working. Like, she seemed to have no idea about mental illness whatsoever, sort of for the vibe I'm getting, that she doesn't know about it at all. So was probably really hard for them to be in a relationship together. And so they break up, and pretty much like immediately she starts dating his younger brother. And then like the whole family is really mad at the brother and her. And so he feels like, he's like, no, like we had to break up, like we weren't right together. So he like has to pretend like he's okay with it. Even though like he's obviously still, he's like not okay with it, but he's like, don't excommunicate him. Whatever. So that's the drama. And it's a fake dating trope. But there's also letters. They write letters. I loved that. And I actually really like one thing about Jason. He, you know, he's like, yeah, when I'm in a situation, like I know when, you know, my anxiety starts getting worse because I'm, you know, dealing with stress at work or at home, like once I feel it start happening, I, you know, right away I start, like I make sure I'm eating better, I cut out sugar and caffeine and alcohol, and I make sure that I exercise every day. And I was just like, wow, he really is like, one part of my life is getting harder, so I need to make sure the rest of my life is doing everything it can to support like my mental health. I wish I did that, basically. I was feeling a little bit like, he's really onto something there. But yeah, I respected it. I respect him for taking care of himself in that way. It's really hard. So good on you, Jason. And yeah, it's like a fake dating, but I won't say anything else because I think that the way that I feel about it now is not necessarily how it was like framed at the very beginning of the book, so I don't want to give anything away. But yeah, I'm having a good time. And I don't know if I'll finish it tomorrow. Probably not. It'll probably take me another day. But I do, actually, I don't know. I want to start another book for this. I also want to sew something for this, but tomorrow I'm working again at both libraries. I actually don't know if I've ever explained my jobs. Like, I think that the videos that I talked about having, like, gotten the other job, I think mostly those were canceled videos. But yeah, I work at 2 different libraries, one of them regularly and one of them sporadically, kind of as needed. So today and tomorrow I'm working at the smaller one where I work just as on a substitute basis, and then tomorrow I'm also working at the other one in my more scheduled shifts. So I'm gonna be doing both. I've never had to do that before, so who knows what'll happen to me. But I really want to start another book for this. I want to start I need to finish Ship of Destiny because I have a physical copy of it, but it's just like, it's so much faster to read on my Kindle. So I've been reading that tonight, and I'm going to keep reading it a little bit before I fall right asleep because I'm so tired. But I can't, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow, but that's what happened today. Okay. I'm in my car outside the library again. I slept for almost 12 hours last night. Yeah, I was gonna stay up and do as much reading as I could, even though I didn't really feel like getting into any sewing. I was just gonna stay up and read the one book I have that I'm not reading as a friend fave, but I was so tired. So at like 8:30, by 8:30 I was in bed. By 9 o'clock I was out cold until about 8:30 this morning. So, no, maybe it was only 7:30 when I got up, but still, I slept for a long time. I slept good. I'm like, I guess I needed that. No, I got it. But yeah, no sewing so far in this Sewing My Friends faves. And now I'm gonna be away for the weekend. Oopsie. Today at work, I did, in case I can, read a little bit while I'm here today. I've got my Kindle with Ship of Destiny on it, but also I brought The Serpent and the Wings of Night, the Romantasy, just in case. It's a shorter day today, so I'll only be here for a couple hours, and then I'm gonna scoot on over to the other library where I'm running a program today. So, yay! Hello again. It's me. I'm in the same pajamas in the same spot I was in last night, but I'm back because I have a bit of a rant. I think I'm like 70% done probably with yours truly. Still no sewing this vlog, don't worry. But I'm thinking I'm gonna bake tomorrow. Just like sewing. I didn't even look at the fabric today like I said I would. That's not what the rant is about. I started The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. I wanted to make sure I said those words in the right order, which I had not read a single thing about, except I just remember hearing Lizzie talk about it when she read this. I just remember hearing Lizzie talk about it, and mainly I remember Lizzie really liking it, which I was like, interesting, because Lizzie is someone who doesn't read fantasy romance, doesn't really like romance in general, like overall. I don't want to say what Lizzie does or doesn't like, but I don't think she's really not the target reader for a romantasy, and yet she really loved this one. So that gave me the courage to try it. Anyway, so I started this book today, just a little bit at work. I've barely read anything, but a couple of things stood out to me right from the get-go. First of all, you know, as you do when you first are opening up a new fantasy book, you look for the map, okay? And there is a map, but it's useless. It's illegible, and it actually gives no information whatsoever. Like, the name of the main palace or whatever, you can't read it because it's on the crease. You can't really even read this because of the crease. And, like, what's land and what's sea, I can't tell. Everything is just dark gray. And also, like, these three houses, like, they're just not really indicative of where anything actually is. It's more of, like, a vibe. And there's just, like, the detail on the map is just so little as to make it, like, pointless. So I'm really disappointed because, like, if you were going to give me this map, just, if this is the amount of information that you had to put on the map, like, just skip the map. And you can just tell me, like, general geographic information, and that's fine. But, like, don't try to make a map when you don't have enough stuff for a map. Huge disappointment. I was looking online for a better one. I was like, have the fans made a better map than this? No, they have not. Not even one where you can read the words. Anyway, then what I did like, I don't know what made me flip to the back. I wonder if Lizzie mentioned that there was a glossary, but there is a glossary, an author's note, a glossary, and then another author's note? Oh, acknowledgements. Anyway, so I'm looking through the glossary because I love like front and back matter in a book. This is just what I do for fun. And that was good. It gave me a foundation of knowing, you know, a couple of the different houses and a few different types of vampire in this vampire book. But then I was like, oh, you know, I'm not really sure how to say some of these words. I wonder if there's a pronunciation guide. Well, that led me on a wild goose chase. What I discovered, short answer, no. Long answer, the author had answered a question on Goodreads where people were asking for pronunciation guides, saying, I hear you, I have a video with pronunciations pinned on my Instagram. It's not there anymore. And I'm gonna put a pronunciation guide in the next book, in the sequel, because so many people have been asking for it. So, like, I'm on it. But then I messaged Ashley, and she looked in book 2 and said there's no pronunciation guide. So I'm just winging it. Nothing, it's not, you know, it became something like dramatic just by the nature of it being impossible to find, being teased with this pronunciation guide, and also after the severe disappointment that was the map. I don't think you guys understand what the map means to me. And I can't explain. But anyway, yeah, I read 20 pages. The text in this book is so tiny. It's like, it's really very small. So I don't think this is going to read as quickly as I was hoping. But I am going to read some of it now, even though it's, oh my god, 11:30. Oops. But good news, so far, I don't have a definite shift tomorrow. And I was like maybe gonna go in to one of the libraries to work on a project, but now I'm feeling like because I'm gonna be out running errands all morning, and then I have some work to do for my mom back here. If I also go to the library, I will get 0 sewing done, and I really, really want to get to work on my stockings, so I think I'm just gonna push my project off until Friday when I am working, and then Friday after work. I also am thinking about trying to bake cookies tomorrow. I think I said that already. And then after work on Friday, me and Connor are gonna be driving to Connecticut to spend the weekend with Connor's family, who we haven't seen in a while, because we were supposed to be seeing them for Thanksgiving, and then we had to cancel that because I was sick and we had been like exposed to COVID, but neither of us ever tested positive. I think I just had a regular cold. I can't sit down and talk for this video without talking for like 30 minutes. Reading time. Okay, in the car again. This is a car vlog, I guess. I just went to the grocery, sorry. She's just letting me know it's really cold outside and I should be careful. I just went to the grocery store. I went to drop off a return, and now I'm going to go home, stop at the post office, on my way. Holy cow, that is a big gust of wind. Anyway, I'm almost done with yours truly, and I think I'm done with fake dating because it's such a juicy little concept. But and I thought it was gonna go good. I really was liking it at first. I was like, these two people, like, they were becoming friends, they're really getting along, like, I'm into it. I like both of them, so that's huge. But then, like, there had been some miscommunications, just like misunderstandings, not like deliberate miscommunications. And so that's like been the main conflict, is just like a few little issues like that are very small, but due to the fake dating setup, it's like you know, there's nobody wants to confront anybody about anything because they're like, oh well, we're just doing this for this fake dating thing. And I'm getting sick of it, frankly. I'm getting sick of them being obsessed with each other, clearly, and to everybody they know, but then like not to each other. The other thing is, there was a hand thing. I was in the car, okay, I was driving my car when there was a very short but fairly horrific to me hand mutilation, because of course, like, they're ER doctors, there's going to be ER incidents, but it was not super detailed, but I really hate that. Okay, yeah, that's pretty much it. I think the writing is good, it's funny. I loved the letters bit. Anyway, yeah, I'm enjoying it more than I thought I would, for sure, but now I'm like, you guys need to get a grip because my patience is wearing thin. Okay, just so you can like get the full effect of how much I want this apron, my mom brought her apron that I got for her for me to measure. I love the back. It has these nice pockets. It's such a good shape, and I really like what's going on with the straps, and that there's no adjustment needed. So I'm going to draw up a pattern for myself based on this that I can then So, okay, finally some sewing happening. I drew up this pattern for this apron, and I got the pockets and I got the reinforcements and I figured out the straps. So really I could have done this all just by measuring it, but I wanted to get this slope just right. So that's why I wanted to do a tracing, sort of making an actual pattern. Although obviously it's not long enough, but yeah, I'm so excited. I can't wait to dig out the fabric. I'm actually gonna go get my fabric out right now. I finished Part of Your World and I started Sky Full of Elephants. I'm not really prepared to talk about it. I guess I could say a little bit. Part of Your World, the ending, I told you I needed them to get it together, and you know what? They did. So overall, I really liked it. There was very little hospital stuff. I think like a divorced heroine, older protagonists, like both of them were in their 30s. And so that just sort of just changes the dynamic of like, you know, where you expect to be in your life, I guess. So that was just interesting to me. I don't want to spoil anything, so I won't say what happens at the end, but I didn't like it. I mean, I didn't like what happens at the end. I loved the character so much. I really liked the story. I do think it went on a bit at times, but I think there was a lot to it. I think if you don't have anxiety, this could really be eye-opening for you. But yeah, there's like one little sort of situation at the end that I was like, not thrilled. So I don't know how I'm gonna rate it yet. I'm kind of like gonna wait and see how I'm feeling in like a couple more days. And I started The Sky Full of Elephants, which is science fiction, kind of. It's not as sci-fi as I thought it would be. Basically, all the white people in the world, in America, I don't even know, it's only about America. Shock. All the white people walk into the nearest body of water and drown. And our main character is a guy who was in prison, but everybody gets to get out of prison now. And his daughter reaches out to him, and her mother was white and she was raised with the rest of her white family. And they're all dead now. It's just her. And they've never met. I don't even, like, does he know about her? I don't even know. But it's something that I think would be really good to read with a book club. Not my book club, but someone else's book club could have a really interesting discussion about how much like whiteness is the cause of like capitalism, which is like the cause of everything else. It's just like, you know, the systems of oppression, they're all connected. And I don't know, it's interesting the way that things work. So that's kind of fun. But I do just like need a break from it because it's like a little bit intense. Something's going on in the South, like nobody will say, but it's like, you want to go to the South? Like, why? We don't go there. It's intense. So I'm going to maybe watch some Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Oh, I'll also, wait, sorry, I've read, well, it felt like much more. I've read more of The Serpent and the Wings of Night, and actually I'm really enjoying it. It's Vampire Hunger Games. That's how I'm pitching it. That's how it's been pitched. I didn't think of that. I read it somewhere and it's true. So having fun with that. Okay, bye. So I don't think I'm gonna make the stockings. The fabric that I'm working with was not giving what I wanted. I don't know what I'm gonna do about the stockings. I'm gonna sleep on it over the weekend because tomorrow after work, me and Connor are gonna drive to Connecticut, spending the weekend with Connor's family. I'm coming back here Sunday. So I won't be sewing during that time is the issue. Not a big issue, it's okay. I did tonight get all the pieces for my apron cut out. I'm so excited. And after like working with the fabric again, like I love it. And so I really want to make my Clyde pants with it, but I'm actually not sure if I feel like I might not have enough to do the Clyde pants now after I did the apron. But I cut the apron as responsibly as I could. Like I did a good job conserving fabric, but yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I'm just gonna curl up and read this evening. Me and Connor were just in the hot tub, so that's why I'm a little bit damp and in my PJs. My same PJs. Hi. It's Friday night. No sewing. Maybe I need to stop thinking about this as a sewing vlog, because the things that I really want to do next week are so my apron I'm really excited about. But I want to paint my living room wall and bake cookies. Like, those are actually the top priorities. I need to do those more than I need to get the sewing done, so reading my friends' faves while I do other stuff vlog. Anyway, I'm almost halfway done with The Serpent in the Wings of Night. I couldn't put this down. I read all morning before work, and then we got to Connecticut and we had plans to hang out with Connor's cousin, and that was fun and all, but the whole time I was like, where's my Serpent in the Wings of Night? Here's what I'm thinking. Now, I didn't think I would be a romantic-y girly. I just didn't think that was for me. Because I'm not super romance girly, and so I just thought like the fantasy part wouldn't necessarily make it more appealing to me, and I really like fantasy, so I was sort of like, I don't want like more romance and fantasy. I'm interested in the other aspects of it, so I didn't think it would be the genre for me. Because it's like taking something I really like and adding something that I don't really like to it. But I actually really like this book. I think the writing is very good. I think that like I can tell that there's a romance aspect coming in here. But I just am finding the characters to be very interesting. Their character development, the magic systems. To be honest, the world building has left a couple of cracks. There's a few holes that might get filled in this book still, or in the next book, like because I want to read the next book already. But I'm not finding it to be like flawless world building, but it's intriguing. And yeah, like the writing is good. It's just like, it's paced very well. The concept is, I don't know if I said this before, but I'm gonna say it now. The concept is vampire Hunger Games. So in Nyaxia, which is where the mystical continent where this takes place, there are a lot of vampires. They're all children of Nyaxia, the goddess of night, darkness, something. She's not the goddess of death. Anyway, and there's 3 different houses of vampires, and our main character is a human girl who is sort of like adopted by the king of the House of Night, I think, which itself is made up of 2 sort of like ethnic groups, I guess, and he's from one, and then there's another group. Anyway, she's been raised as a human, like with him as her protector, basically, from being a young girl, and now as an adult she is preparing to fight in this 100 years tournament. Every 100 years, I forget what it's called, Kajari, and it's basically the Hunger Games. Like, you offer yourself to be in it, and then you get whisked away to this magical castle, and the goddess herself runs the games, and there's like set tasks that happen the same, and then there's some that happen different every year. I think there's like 6 or 4 maybe like events, and they're spaced far apart, so this is like a months long event, the Kajari, and then the winner gets a wish granted by the goddess, basically. And so her wish is going to be something to do with, I think, like it's something to do with like finding her family, like her human family, but she's the only human in the tournament, and that's tough because the rest of them are vampires who are stronger than her, and most of them are like I think all of them, it's safe to say all of them are way older than her, like in the hundreds probably. And some of them have magic. So yeah, that's basically the scope of things. It's quite violent. Stabbing pretty much constantly, ripping, tearing, goring, all that stuff. Yeah, but it's really good. Okay, hi. Excuse me. I need to regroup a little bit. Sewing my friend's faves. I'm still not sewing, and today I'm actually planning to bake. I've already started prepping to get some baking done, and I don't think I'm gonna get my sewing machine out today. Maybe I'll get it out tomorrow. It's just like things are not going as I thought they would. Turns out there's just not really enough hours in the day to get everything done that I wanted to get done. Maybe I didn't prioritize things correctly. Whatever. This is an end of the year vlog, okay? I'm reading my friend's faves. That's still true, but the sewing thing, I don't know. This wall behind me, I am desperate to finish painting this, but like I'm more desperate to have Christmas cookies. So I'm gonna do one batch of Christmas cookies and then I can paint. That's sort of the deal I've struck with myself for now. Anyway, let's talk about the reading. I just got back from a weekend me and Connor spent with Connor's family. We had a great time, but obviously I wasn't sewing. And I also wasn't reading that much, but I have been reading a lot last night when we got home and a lot today. So my second friend's fave that I'm working on, The Serpent and the Wings of Night, I am maybe 3/4 of the way done. And when I'm reading this, I am really enjoying it. But then last night, because something that's, bless you, something that's not part of this vlog is that I have to finish Ship of Destiny this week, due to an arrangement that I have with my friends who are reading the series with me. And also so that I can free up some space on my Kindle. So I was alternating chapters between this and Ship of Destiny, which the chapters in this are quite short. So I would read like a few pages of this, and every single chapter ends on a cliffhanger. One literally ended in the middle of a sentence, like someone was saying something and was cut off midway, and like that's the end of the chapter. And then I would go to Ship of Destiny and read a chapter of that, which takes me 30 to 40 minutes because they're extremely long. So that was tough. And what was happening is that like contrasting them was not doing any favors for Serpent and the Wings of Night, because I just think Robin Hobb is such a phenomenal writer that like breaking up Carissa Broadbent's writing like every like 4 to 6 pages, that's how long the chapters are, she wasn't looking great. And I was starting to get annoyed. I was starting to feel very annoyed with some of the plot developments. But the intrigue is still very high for me. And like, I'm excited to keep reading. And then when I stopped alternating chapters and I was like, okay, I just need to keep reading this because it's getting too juicy. Like I cannot take another break from this book. I read like 8 chapters before going to bed. And when I wasn't alternating, I was really into it again. So I'm not going to try to do that anymore back and forth. I'm just going to read one or the other. So that's great. I've today only really been reading Ship of Destiny, but I have a page goal for today for that book. And once I hit it, then I can read The Serpent and the Wings of Night. Okay. Other reading developments. So the other favorite that I had started was Sky Full of Elephants, which is about like a scenario in which all white people, I think in America, have died, and what happens now. And I think, I don't know if it's the audiobook or just where I'm at, but I was not super enjoying it. Like I didn't want to put the audiobook on today. Yeah, so I still I did really want to read it, and that's why I was excited to see it on Adriana's favorites list because I had already been wanting to read it. But I think in the interest of giving every friend a fair shot, I'm going to soft DNF that, and I might still read it for my own, just reading it. But for this video, I'm going to start another one of her favorites, which was Wayward by someone. I haven't started that though, but I may soon. So for a new audiobook, since I decided to pause on the elephants thing. I started All Rise for the Honorable Perry T. Cook, I think is the full title, which is so far very cute and interesting. It's a middle grade novel about a boy who is just starting 6th grade, and so far he's been living with his mom in prison. I don't know why she's in prison, but she was incarcerated while she was pregnant, and after she gave birth to him, he just continued to live in the prison with her. And he's befriended, you know, the warden and many of the correctional officers, and he goes to school and gets driven back to the prison after school. And it seems like a lot of work was done by like the local government. This is a children's book, middle grade book, so it's not all, you know, but it seems like all this was done so that he could still grow up with his mom, and she really loves him and she's hoping to be able to parole soon. But right away a new district attorney, I think, shows up or whatever, and is like, I don't really think this is an acceptable way for like a young boy to be growing up. So until his mother's released or whatever, he has to move in with a foster family. And that's pretty much right where I am, where I stopped. And yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. I think the concept is very interesting, and something I think I probably would have loved to read as a child. Not that I'm not loving it now, but yeah, so I'm ready to really enjoy that book, and that's one of Martine's favorites. So yeah, that's where I'm at with the Friends faves, okay? And I'll let you know once I start making something. Perfect timing, I guess. Okay, I am like 2/3 done with the All Rise for the Honorable Perry T. Cook, and I think it's like a phenomenal book for like young people to learn about incarceration. There's just like, I don't know, I'll say more when I'm done, but so far I do really like it, and I can totally see Martine giving this 5 stars and, you know, it being one of their favorites. But what I've been doing, what I've been doing is baking. So these are gonna be the 2 halves for my sandwich gingerbread cookies. I normally make them with this cookie cutter, and then I have one without the hole in it so that they're sandwiches and you can see the icing, but it's just a lot of cookie. And last year we found that we really preferred the ones that were just the inside cutouts, but I didn't have one that was that small. And I have this one, but it's broken, which I didn't realize. So yeah, I just did these circles and then I cut them in half, and they'll just be little moon sandwiches. And next year I'll do better. And these are the rest of the scraps. And Connor's cousin 3D printed me these Jane Austen cookie cutters. So I did some of those. And up next, this is the dough for my chocolate chai shortbreads. It's rock hard. It was way harder even when I put it in the fridge than the gingerbread one is, or my other shortbread. But I'm gonna use these candy canes, and then I'll cover part of the candy cane in melted chocolate when they're done. This smells so good, even as it's like warming up a little bit, but yeah, it's so hard. But I've been on a roll with these, and I really like my audiobook, so I'm just gonna keep on doing it. Okay, here are the candy canes. There's not that many of them. And this is what was left. The dough really never became less crumbly. So I didn't love the recipe. This one like cracked as I was taking it out of the oven, so that's a bummer. But once they're dipped in chocolate, I think they'll still taste really good. Something about this recipe was not quite right. So I would like to try it again, but not like today or anything. I have 2 more cookies to bake this week, and I'm about to go on a walk, and then I'm going to start painting the living room. you doing? Harvey. Hi, I parked my car at the post office. The sun is gonna go down, so it's gonna get dark in here real fast, and it's gonna be dark at my house, and Connor's gonna be working, and I just want to do an update because I finished another book, and I need to give my final rating for yours truly, and also for the other books I finished. So yours truly, I know I was hemming and hawing a little bit about that earlier, but I have since decided to give it 4 stars. So yeah, rating is just feeling very hard for me right now. I just feel like I rated a lot of things wrong this year. Whatever. I loved the characters. I really liked the story. Between them, I loved the letter stuff. One of my biggest complaints about that book is not enough letters. The third act breakup in that was actually one that not even the actual breakup, but the lead up, whatever. I just feel like everything was very realistic and totally happens as far as conflict within this situation, and while I do find the ending disagreeable, shall we say, I think right now whenever I'm thinking about the book, I'm like, God, I wish it hadn't ended like that. But the reason I wish it hadn't ended like that is because I liked it so much. So yeah, 4 stars for yours truly. Great job, Bailey. That's it. The other book I finished is All Rise for the Honorable Perry T. Cook, which I thought was phenomenal. I'm also giving it 4 stars. I just don't know how. I don't, it's not 5 stars for me, but it was a 4 star. This was Martine's pick, and I listened to the whole thing while making cookies. Sorry there wasn't more cookie footage. The book. It's about Perry. He grew up in prison. In a good way. I feel like this is such a good thing for kids to read, particularly any kid who has a parent or a relative or loved one or a community, knows anybody who's ever been to prison. I think that this could be a really important reframe, I guess. It talks about prison and people in prison in such a different way than any other media I've seen, especially directed towards kids. So I think it could be really important for that reason. And also, even if you don't know anybody, in prison, I think it really shapes how you can think about the justice system in an easily digestible, child-friendly way. I really thought it was a phenomenal sort of concept and book. Hopefully you can still see me. And I'm gonna head home, and I did start listening to Wayward is that by Amelia Hart, maybe? And I was at the library today, and I almost brought home some other books that I'm just excited about, but I was like, no, friends faves. So, yeah, I'm gonna work on Wayward tonight. I'm imagining that the kitchen is still a mess from how I left it when I left there earlier today. Clean the kitchen, figure out dinner while listening to Wayward, and then I've got some reading to do for my Ship of Destiny read along. That's the state of me and what I'm reading. So I really needed to just take a minute and get those updates out of here into there. Okay, I'll catch you when I've read something else. Okay, I just checked these out, and these, you can see I drizzled white chocolate over those. The sweetness of the chocolate does cut the greasiness of the cookie, for lack of a better word. I would adjust that recipe before making those cookies again. These also, we know I had problems with this, but how cute are they? Drizzled with chocolate and carbonado sugar. So looking good. Still have to ice the gingerbread cookies and make the thumbprints, but I think I'll do that tomorrow. For now, I'm just I'm so close to finishing my book. Good morning. There was sewing last night. Here. There was sewing here. I finally started sewing my apron because I finished baking all my cookies, and I really wish those had happened in a different order, but here we are. The apron looks so good so far. I'm gonna work on it again, but let me show you what I did. Okay, here's the full, you can see apron shape. I put the pockets on. There's stray threads everywhere. And I did the straps, which have lines of like reinforced, stitching, so they're sturdier. And next, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna have to puzzle this out because I have, for this, like on the other side of this is obviously the top front, and I have this piece, which goes, on the back of it. And so they should be sewn together like this with the straps also, with the straps in it, So this gets sewn and then flipped and then sewn down on the other side, but then the straps are sticking out. But then also the same thing for the straps being reinforced. I have a little triangle piece that goes here. And I just need to decide if I can do the same flippy thing. I think I can, but I'm really gonna be careful not to have the straps like twisting or something, It just needs thought, but yeah, I'm gonna work on this, get as much of that together before I head to work today as I can. And I'm not loving my Wayward audiobook either, but maybe I just haven't given it a good enough chance. I've only been listening to it like very distracted. Okay. Bye. Okay, here she is. I'm not done. It's not done. But I got this is still, what am I doing? It's not sewn down, okay? Can you see that? So this is all gonna get sewn. Can you see the whole thing though? There's the straps. I've just pinned them. They're not sewn on because I wanted to maybe make sure that they were gonna sit well. And I think they do. I think they do sit well. From the back. I'll look at the footage. How does this look? Does this look comfortable? Do I look comfortable? So, a couple things. I don't remember when I last talked to this vlog, and actually on my list today I have an item that says start editing this vlog because I don't know what I'm talking about, but I finished this book. Did we talk about it? What I'll say right now, I raced through the ending of this. I zoomed, and I immediately wanted to get the next one, but it's not available to me via Libby at all. None of my libraries have this as an ebook, so I would have to order it from a different branch. Like none of my my closest branches don't have it either. So basically I wasn't gonna be able to get it before we leave for Connecticut. So I just had to put it on hold because I was absolutely gonna derail the rest of this vlog to read the sequel to this. So I kind of feel like that means I should give it 5 stars. I did not see that coming. Okay, you have to know. I didn't see that coming. I'm not mad, but I am surprised. And I don't know if it's totally right because the writing in this, the world build, if you even gave if you looked at this world building like that, sternly, you're like, it would fall apart. I think there's so much about the magic system in this that just doesn't make sense, or the factions and the warring stuff that's going on is so not, you as the reader are so far removed from any of the real world stuff in this because it's just about the competition part. So for that, I just feel I don't know, that really just takes away a layer of complexity that this it just doesn't have, which is something that I value very much in fantasy. So I don't know, but I had so much fun, so I just feel I should give it 5, okay? If I was a person who did half stars, this would obviously be where I would break them out and do like a 4.5, but I don't do them because if it's not a 4, it's a 5, and if it's not a 5, well then it's a 4. And I think it's not a 4, it's a 5. I can't believe. So anyway, I finished that. I feel like I said I wasn't feeling the Wayward audiobook either, and I'm really interested in where the story could go, but yeah, the audiobook I wasn't enjoying. So instead, I started today the audiobook for The Color Purple by Alice Walker, and that is one of Danielle's faves, and it's actually narrated by Alice Walker, which is always an exciting twist. I'm wearing my apron, by the way. It's because I was baking cookies. Sorry, Alice Walker first. Actually, no, I have nothing really to say about the book. I listened to about an hour and a half of it. I'm really, I like the narration. I'm interested in the story. I'm following it. It's all going good. Because that's what I was having problems with following stuff in the other audiobook, the Wayward one. So yeah, I was listening to that while I baked these cookies because we're going to see a gluten-free family member this weekend who cannot eat the other cookies that I made because they have gluten in them. And I feel like so many of our family make, there's always vegan stuff whenever we're visiting, so I feel like I don't want to bring cookies that are not gluten-free because they always would have vegan stuff for me and Connor, so I want to make some gluten-free cookies. These, however, are not very good. I'm going to give them a little bit to see, like, if once they're, like, fully cooled, they're better, but I had, like, a piece of one, and yeah, I just didn't like it. It's not a gluten-free recipe. I mean, I just used 1-to-1 gluten-free flour for them, which I've only used once before, and it worked out fine, but something about the texture of these is just like, they spread too much. I don't know what happened. I don't know what I did, because I make this cookie recipe. I've made it so many times recently, and it's always been fine, so who knows what that's about. That's what's up. Oh, another thing I'm doing is, okay, I have this little thing. This is gonna be the head. I'm making a cat toy for Connor's sister's cat. My sister-in-law. Making a cat toy for my sister-in-law. And here's like one of the tentacles. So it's gonna be a little octopus. I'm gonna tie it to a string, and it's gonna be so cute. So yeah, cat toy is my next sewing project, I guess. I'm wearing an apron. Did I say that already? I'm obsessed with my apron. I'm so happy, and everybody's getting one of these for Christmas next year, so buckle up. What else? I don't know. I guess that's it. Yeah. Okay, great. What a good vlog. Okay, great news. Connor tried one of the cookies after they were fully cooled and like set, and said actually they're very good. So I think I'm not gonna remake the cookies. And it's the thought that counts, right? And look who's done. Oh, sorry, he's spinning like crazy. I gave him little eyes. I think it's a little bit spooky because I think the eyes are not the same, but there's my little octopus guy. I feel like, with the 4 legs, like I could make more legs, but then it just like would be very heavy. So if I had like a very similar colored yarn, or like even like a matching yarn, like a thinner one, like a smaller, I would do maybe some 4 other tentacles, but I'm just gonna leave it as is. I think he's cute. And Connor's outside right now finding me a stick to tie it to. So that's Christmas for the cat. Dunzo. I hope she likes it. I'm sorry I didn't have any catnip for you, Ruka. All right, friends, I have packed, I have wrapped, I have baked. I'm about to load the car, and I think this is going to be a 2-part vlog. This is a gift for me later when I'm editing this. We're going to end it here. We've read Yours Truly. We read, what did we read after that? other one, The Kid in the Jail, All Rise for the Honorable Perry T. Cook, and we read Serpents and the Wings of Night. 2 4 stars and a 5 star, which is really good actually. And I started a couple of other things, so we're just gonna finish them in the next vlog. I started Wayward, which I'm gonna try to get the ebook of. I'm actually gonna do that right now before I leave so that I have it on my Kindle. I started To Like the Lightning, which I haven't said anything about, and I can't say anything about it at this time. Don't know what to say, in a good way. And I started a favorite of a new friend of mine who is not part of this project really, but recently we were talking about books and she was like, oh, I'm gonna lend you this book, it's one of my favorites, I think you'd like it. So I started that, and all of that is gonna be stuff that you have to wait for the next vlog to hear about. Yeah, I just feel like there needs to be a break here, and so here's the break. Did we do very much sewing? Kind of, no, but I finished my apron, I made so many cookies, I did my nails. And I did a lot of like creative wrapping, so I feel like I still was like being creative. I don't know if I showed you the wrapping that I did, but whatever, you know. Oh, and I made that cat toy. So great creative reading vlog for me. And now we're heading to Connecticut. I'm going to Connecticut, back to New York, down to New Jersey, back to New York in the next 7 days. So can't wait for that, and can't wait to bring you along. So thanks so much for watching. Happy Friends Faves season to all of us, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.